So today I wanted to talk about step one of the I Eat What I Need process. And the process, if you're not familiar with this already, is the course that we teach, I Eat What I Need. It's 7 steps, and it's not a linear process. It's very much a journey of, and quite a cyclical journey of learning about who you are as an eater, understanding your habits and patterns, understanding the nature of your brain and your mind, and understanding how we may have got a bit diverted from our natural eating abilities, and perhaps a very gentle and very sort of sinuous pathway back towards something that might feel much more like natural eating, which feels to me like a much more harmonious and comfortable and free experience of being an eater. And like I said, it's not linear. It's not like you do step 1 and then step 2 and then step 3 and then step 4. It's not like that. There's 7 different aspects and 7 different ideas and approaches, which can, all of them can help to reorientate you to a more comfortable experience of eating at all times. So step 1 is always going to be necessary. It's not like you do it and then it's finished. We will always need to keep reminding ourselves of step 1. And step 1 of the process is noticing. And if you've not been to an I Eat What I Need group, what normally happens is we start by looking at what this step might mean for us as eaters, and we offer perhaps some practices or some tools which will help you to get into the step. And I'm a big fan of pen and paper, very old school technology, and I often do a little sort of A3 kind of poster, and these develop and change and evolve over time, and this is one from my last group. So you can see I've written noticing, and I've drawn 2 pairs of eyes. For me, noticing is about being awake, and it's about looking at your life and your behaviour and your thoughts and your habits with the fresh eyes of awareness. It's very much, the I Eat What I Need process is very much about raising your own awareness of who you are as an eater. And I've written on this piece of paper as well, noticing behaviour. So that's noticing the things that we do, the things that we say, our actions, our habits, our speech. I've also put here noticing the environment. I think that's quite an interesting one. So as foodies, we might talk perhaps about our home environment or our work environment, and the effects that perhaps that has on our eating, the availability of food within our environment, and what kinds of food are in our environment. I've written here, the next one is thoughts. So this is the inner dialogue that goes on, the tape that is playing in your head. Particularly repetitive thoughts, and noticing what those repetitive thoughts are, which may well be something like, I need to eat, I need to eat, I need to eat, I need to eat, I need to get something, I need to go get something, I need that, I want that, I need that. That's really hard. It's really hard when we have this inner dialogue going on. And the other part might be saying, no, don't do that. No, you did that before and did that yesterday, and don't. So there might be conflicting tapes going on. Again, very distressing for us as humans to be in a place of conflict in our minds. Thoughts and also emotions, these are quite often intertwined in that some people, I'm a very verbal person, as you can probably tell. I'm a language teacher, very interested in communication and words and the meaning of words. I would say that's not the case for everybody, and your thoughts might come to you almost as a voice and as words, but they also might come to you as almost perhaps in a more emotional quality, as like an inner weather. I describe emotions, or I've heard them described before also, as like an inner weather. So perhaps more of an impulse or a feeling of moving towards something or kind of away from something, both comfort and discomfort, that feeling of I want this, and you might not be saying I want this, but the sort of the feeling, the impulse is kind of there within the mind and also within the body, because mind and body are very powerfully connected. They are one and the same. Something that I'm learning to understand on a more real level, how mind and body are two sides of the same coin. And again, these feelings that can so much dominate our lives, feelings towards food and our relationship with food, feelings towards our bodies, feelings towards how we behave and how maybe we would like to behave, but then perhaps we don't feel that we match up to that, and feelings of disappointment between the expectation and then the reality of how things are. There's so much there that we can notice. And the final thing I wrote here on my little thing that I did for my group was body sensations, which is the one that for me was absent for so long, and that I felt I was very aware of my thoughts and my behaviour, and probably quite judgmental about my own behaviour maybe, and maybe even other people's as well, very possibly. And also I would consider myself emotionally quite an aware person in terms of noticing my moods, but I had no practice whatsoever to help me to experience, or to, not to help me, but just to allow me to experience the sensations within my body and value that knowledge and that wisdom that comes from knowing or feeling what it is to be in a body. And how we can use that as really powerful feedback. So things like bloating and tightness and tension and irritation, and often comes as might call it a symptom, maybe a tight jaw, or an issue in the back, maybe in the spine, perhaps, and using that as really powerful feedback for us to then develop perhaps new ways of being that hopefully won't create these uncomfortable sensations in the body. And also very, very nice also to start to notice comfortable sensations in the body, bliss and ease, and because the body is capable of creating beautiful, and often we focus on the negative and the discomfort and the issues and feeling overfull and bloated and all that horrible stuff. But actually the body is also perfectly capable of, and does very often create these wonderful feelings of release and softness. And so not just focusing on the difficult stuff that we might want to get rid of, but also the great stuff that can come up that we can also learn to create as well, and take a more active role in creating ourselves. And I wrote here at the bottom of this little list, what is calling my attention? What needs expressing? What needs addressing? And in this first step, we're really taking a 360-degree view of our lives, ourselves at the centre, the environment that surrounds us, all of our experiences that have led us up to this point that we are in today, now, in this very moment. And having a look around, particularly focusing on our relationship with food and body, and asking that question, what's calling my attention? If I'm an overeater, the fact that I'm eating big quantities of food, that may well be calling my attention. I'm eating more than I feel I want to eat. What's that about? What needs addressing? I have a chronic pain in my wherever. I don't know why. I don't want to feel this pain anymore. How can I address that? What needs expressing? I feel that I'm not able to say what I want to say. I'm not able to be honest about my eating. I'm hiding my eating. I feel ashamed of what I'm doing, and there's no place for me to go where I can truly be honest about who I am and what I'm doing. This is really hard for me. So all of these things, in a very safe and very confidential and very supported space, just begin to arise. And the thing about noticing is we're not noticing perhaps all of these different things with an idea of making it better, forcing it to change, getting a 7-week fit blasting plan of let's eliminate this and let's get rid of that and let's, it's not a push process. It's definitely not that. It is a gentle, kind, open space for us to say, this is the reality of my life. Here are the places where I feel out of control, out of balance, confused, anxious, just completely powerless. And I want other people to hear me in that. And I want to know that I'm not alone. And that is the strength, I think, of the What I Need community, is that we do not put any pressure on people to change their eating behaviour, to change their bodies in any way, to be any different than they are now. And you can come to an I Eat What I Need group and you can eat exactly as you're eating on that day one and continue to do so forevermore, as far as we're concerned. And there will be no weigh-in, there's no weight loss and focus in I Eat What I Need whatsoever. That there is an unconditional acceptance of who you are and what you're doing and what you're eating and how your body is. That is non-negotiable in an I Eat What I Need group. And the funny thing is that from that place of noticing, while being non-judgmental, while being kind, while being accepting of who we are as humans now, when we notice from that place, we can actually relax. We can get out of that stress response of, oh God, they're going to make me go on this diet. They're going to make me, change my eating. They're going to make me, stand on a scale and feel ashamed of who I am. When we get out of that place, we can actually start to, as adults, take responsibility for our lives and the places where maybe we're not as happy as we'd like to be. And if we choose to make any changes, we make them because we are free and we want to do them for ourselves, not because anybody has told you to, not because it's part of the system or the plan, not because it's the I Eat What I Need way of doing things. Absolutely not. It's because you are committed to making your life more comfortable, because you are committed to loving yourself fully, and you are committed to giving yourself the life that you deserve, which does involve growth, which will involve growth, but it's a growth that is, I can't say this word enough, that is gentle, that is self-directed, that is based on freedom and choice and personal motivation. And you will come to your moments of change and progress in your own good time. And knowing that something is right for you or healthy or advisable never made anybody do anything. If we just needed more information, we have tons of information out there about nutrition and healthcare and exercise. Most people pretty much, I would say, have all the information they need to live a healthy life. We don't need more information about eating the right kind of foods. what we need are spaces where we can be who we truly are, where we can share what is real for us without fear of judgment and shame and rejection, because so often that is what we are already piling on ourselves anyway. So step 1, notice where you are in your relationship with food and body. Be present to that, just as you would be present to a lovely friend or a vulnerable child, and remain open to the possibility of things changing at their own pace, gradually and slowly, without an expectation of needing to get somewhere or do it the right way. There is no right way in I Eat What I Need. There is only your way. So I'm really excited for you if this is the beginning or perhaps the continuation of your journey and your return home to natural eating. And I wish you a huge dose of wakefulness and awareness that will accompany you along the journey.